Hi everyone, big welcomes to our channel. I'm Emma Milanathi, also known as Reiki Emma. I'm a Reiki master teacher, a meditation teacher, a holistic therapist, all kinds of things like that, everything well-being and empowerment and stuff. And I'm co-hosting today's discussion with my colleague and friend Tanvir Anwar. And yeah, hi Tanvir, would you like to...
Hi. Yeah, thanks, Emma. So I am Tanvir. I'm a holistic home healer, and thanks for having me. And it's not only a guest or host environment right now. So we are both co-hosting, right?
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah,
like. Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Equality and just a bit of a conversation, really.
right. Yeah.
Both take the lead.
So last time we have talked about enlightenment, ego, and some other spiritual aspect what a beginner generally faces. So
Yeah.
we will carry on the rest of the part today. So Emma, could you please carry on? Yeah.
Yes, sure. So the next question that we have on our list of challenges and difficulties that quite often beginners on the spiritual path will face is, do I need to live a less comfortable or more austere life from now on? Do I need to chuck out all of my nice furniture and live in a little hut in the mountains and live on bread and water? Obviously not literally that, but that's kind of the gist of what we're talking about. So yeah, I know what I'd like to say about this, but would you like to go first, Tanvir?
Yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk. So it's very common to believe that I need to live a below standard to be more spiritual or get the guidance from the divine. To me, that is not true. What generally people tries to achieve is detachment. So detachment from everything like financial achievement and similar as the worldly things. But the fact is, one can go to the path of spirituality being all of things having. The main thing what needs to focus here is detachment. So don't get attached with anything. If you are not getting attached with any worldly type of things, you can have everything. You can enjoy all the goods, and along with that, you can also proceed in the way of the spirituality. So there, we need to find a balance. So where is the balancing point here? So am I getting attached too much into worldly things like I need more money to survive? Do you feel in that way? Or you are just thankful to the divine that for giving you so much opportunity to enjoy your life, to live a very affluent way as other people live. But the thing is, you are not misusing all of those gifts which you have given from the divine. So that's the main thing. So as long as someone is using those resources wisely and also help other people as well, get rid of poverties, get rid of from other hardship for others to help them. So definitely wealth can be a very good thing. And it will also help people to grow spiritually more because he's not only help himself, but also help others. So that's my point of view. What about you?
Yes, I like that. Thank you, Tanvir. That's really resonating with me. And I think what I would add to that is energy. Money is a form of energy. It's resource and abundance. And it's when we start to focus on it above everything else and prioritize it and see when people are really attached to the idea of money and wanting more and more and more, it's because they have a sense of not enough. There's never enough. And getting enough, there's no such thing as enough money when somebody is really focused on money and that's their driving force. That's really the opposite of the kind of spiritual perspective. So it's more about your priority, your attitude. And as you said, Tanvir, being grateful for what we do have, for the gifts that we have. It's also, I think, being willing to accept that sometimes there will be times of more, sometimes there'll be times of less. And seeing both of these things as opportunities for growth and learning, to be okay to see both of them as being the same, really. Even if one's more challenging, that's going to give us other gifts as well. I do think that getting slightly geekier, just to mention that I think that this idea of living an austere life and putting yourself through physical hardship kind of comes from traditions where people would go through physical adversity and difficulties as part of ritual. So yeah, people would put themselves into the middle of nowhere. They would undergo rituals and meditation, bathing in freezing cold water, reciting certain scriptures or prayers as part of a path that would bring them quite often shamanistic gifts, supernatural gifts and spiritual gifts. And it would represent the death of the old life and the start of the new life and their new role in their life. And it's a very transformative kind of experience. But the fact is that not that many of us go through that as part of our spiritual path anymore. It's not the thing of going through the austerity and the difficulties. That's not the thing that makes you spiritual or that's part of the path. It's more that transformation. And we can get that in so many different ways, especially through things like Reiki attunements. It is more about the kind of attitude of abundance and of equanimity and of welcoming difficult times and times of plenty as being exactly the same. So yeah.
Yeah, good. You are absolutely right. So I have a similar point of view which I missed earlier. So it is like in most of the major religion, they're showing something like if you are in poverty, if you have less resource, that mean God loves you more.
Yes.
And from my personal opinion, what I can say that if you were in a financial hardship, it's very much difficult to grow spiritually as well.
Yeah.
Because you need to provide your food, you need to take care of your family, you need to take care of your surroundings.
Yeah.
So if you can take care of all those things, then how you will be able to take care of your mental state, which wants to proceed to the spirituality.
Yeah.
That is not possible. And one thing more, it is like what we believe that religion is the spirituality, and that makes things more hard for other people, thinking that, okay, if I want to be more spiritual, then I needed to be more religious. And when you are going to the religion section and figure it out that, I mean, as per their belief, God loves poor people, and it's the rich people or who has the abundance. They are going to be punished in afterlife for accumulating all of those resources. I mean, those type of negative belief also helps a people to remain in their poverty condition.
Yes, exactly.
Because they're not getting out of those type of hate thinking that I don't need any money or I don't need wealth. I want to be a very good person as God wants. Well, that type of belief, I think, also dragging us from the path of the spirituality.
Yes. Can I just jump in here, please, Tanvir? Because you've just reminded me of something else as well. It's, I think with some of the mainstream religions and very successful religious organizations, it kind of suits them to have people not feel empowered, to have people feeling as though they're poor and as though they need to give a certain amount of their money to the organization because that will make them a good person as well, or that's what God wants from them. And so the religions get richer and richer and richer, and their people stay in poverty and judge other religions and other people who do look after themselves and who see money as this energy and who are not afraid of change and empowerment and of the responsibility that actually comes with having abundance as well to help other people. And people can get very, and I saw this because that's the sort of environment that I was brought up in myself, was in an organization that took it took all of people's resources in some respects, But it took 10% of their money before tax, and everybody had to pay that. They used to preach that it was God's money, and if you can't afford to feed your children, if you don't have enough money to feed your children and pay the 10%, then you pay the 10%, was literally what they would preach. And that is so wrong. That is so wrong. That is so irresponsible. And people believed them and did that. Yeah, and I feel like quite a few people who have either come from similar backgrounds or who have been brought up in situations like that have very conflicted ideas around resource and money and what's okay, what's safe. Is it safe to have enough? And it's certainly something that I've had to work with over the years myself, because there is a lot of kind of fear and guilt and the conflicting ideas that in order to be good, you have to see yourself as bad and unworthy. It's just very contradictory ideas that quite a few people have. I mean, having money blocks is something that, is universal, really. So it's a tricky one for people, and I really empathize.
Yeah, I just want to add a few examples here. So in our last session, we also talked about gurus.
Yes.
It is also true for them as well.
Yes, exactly the same sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah. That's why that resonated so much with me.
Right. So I just want to add an example. I have seen such a religious preacher. So they're asking people to donate or give their charities, whatever you just told that. I mean, even if you can feed your family, but pay the money to the organization.
Yeah.
So similar type of things what I have seen when I was back in our country. So people used to use those charities monies, I mean those preachers, and used to fly with helicopters, private helicopters and private jets or these sort of things. And one of their main, I mean, when they're asked that why you are using people's money in such a luxurious way, so they have some good argument as well. So it is like we are saving times, so we need to move here from there. And another good example was, okay, if we travel with other people, that will attract more negative energy to us because we are more pious.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that's why we need to fly through the private jet as well.
It's different roles, isn't it, for different people in those sorts of things. And that's exactly what happened in the organization I was talking about as well. That it came out recently that they had been putting money into hedge funds. They hadn't been using it for charity. They'd been building buildings, buying land, making business investments, building a big shopping mall, and also not declaring their taxes. So they've been getting into quite a lot of trouble recently. And but they're still trying to get people to pay their 10%.
Right.
And some people are, but
So in the conclusion, we can say that every person need to make a mindset that I need sufficient resource for myself, for my family, and for my society. If we have that kind of mindset, then eventually I believe the divine will give us the resource what we need. And when we will be aligned with those type of resources, we will be more grateful to the divine. That means you are already in the path of the spirituality. You don't need to find other way to go into the forest and start meditation, long meditation, leaving everything. So you don't need those type of things. So making life simple, get rid of the wrong belief is the main thing. So it is a kind of detrimental belief which we have to grow in the spirituality. We need to leave everything. Yep.
Yes, and it's I think echoing that as well. It's when we discover that objects are objects, and that the meaning that we sometimes ascribe to objects that we've been accumulating over the years, it's inside us, and we can just connect with that feeling that the object, or the thing that the object gave us. So, for example, if it's something that we've inherited from from a relative, from somebody who's passed over, then we can use it as a focus to remind us. But the real value of it is what's inside of us. That's where the treasure really is. And nothing can ever take that away. That's always with us, isn't it? So, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, our next question is, why am I facing different types of changes in my life? And this is a really good one.
Yeah. You can go on with that one first.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, cool. So one very kind of basic thing that pops up for me here is the fact that change happens when we allow it to. When we are on a spiritual path, when we're starting to go along a spiritual path, it means that's a change in itself. We've got different priorities, we're having different sorts of experience, we have a different focus in life, and we are maybe living a more heart-centered life. We're connecting with our ethics and our hearts and our consciousness. And so naturally, things in our life were part of our life before we started on the spiritual path. Our relationship with those is going to change. So there will be people who maybe are not very comfortable having as close a relationship with us as they did, because we're quite different now, or we have a different perspective on things that doesn't match their own. It doesn't mean we don't have to, it doesn't mean we can't be friends with them. It just means that the relationship's going to change because we're changing, and that's how things go. That's what life is like. Also, I think our perception of things is changing. So maybe the same things are happening in life, but we're just noticing them differently. I have to say, from when I started out on my spiritual path, it was an evolution. It was change after change. It was letting go of things in my life that were no longer, that were never me, but that I realized were not aligned with me in my path, and they didn't feel right anymore. So I guess it started off with prioritizing things that I loved. So yoga and meditation, and looking after my body more. So first of all, I stopped having dairy because I knew I'd experienced that it was very bad for me. But then I decided, after experiencing a vegan yoga retreat, I decided and realized that I really wanted to be vegan, and that was right for me. And I just felt more myself and heart-led and aligned. And so that was a massive shift. That was a big change. I had to let go of lots of old ideas around that. But really, all it was doing was letting go of something that was not me and not like my path. So we start to drop the baggage and the stuff that holds us back, and we do it with love. It's not about saying that's lesser and I'm better than that, so I don't need that anymore. It's starting to live in a more aligned and conscious way, I guess. So that's why so many changes seem to happen, especially near the beginning of it. And they feel bigger at the beginning as well, because you're starting from a non-spiritual life and you're starting on the spiritual path. So everything feels a lot bigger until you're kind of on your way. So yeah, that's my take on it. But what about yourself, Tanvir?
Yeah, so you're right. I'm going to a different direction. So it is like why those emotional change is happening inside us. So what I believe, when people are getting aligned more into with spirituality, then what's happened? Some buried emotions trying to getting out of our mind, body in every ways. So it's don't want to hold the old baggages. And that is one of the reason. That's why people feel those kind of emotional changes. And also you will found that people surrounding you are getting changed as well. So they are not, it's like you are losing your old friends, and on the other hand, you are getting involved with other friends aligned with your belief system. So you will get those type of environment coming towards you. It's not like one thing is going, it's like a paradigm shift. It's like something is going out from your life and something is getting in your life. So that is the point when, generally as a human being, we are very much comfortable with what we have. But when the shift started to happen inside us, then we are feeling much more emotional instability inside us. And that is, I will say, a realization. So you are getting realized that what is happening around you, because previously we are not that much conscious about our own karmas, our own deeds, and even if we carried something from our old past life, so it's a different topic. But the thing is, those are already buried inside us. But when we are aligned with spirituality, that means we need to get rid of all those type of belief, all those kind of buried emotion from us, which is holding to proceed on towards light. That's the one reason what I believe causing emotional instability at the very beginning. What I believe how to overcome that type of situation. So sometimes people will say that, okay, start breathing work, start meditation. But to me, first of all, need to consult with a mental or physical practitioner, because sometimes because sometimes it might be a physical reason or mental reason. So definitely those are needed to be sorted first. If they're saying no, you're mentally is absolutely doing great or you're physically fine, so that's mean some spiritual energy is shifting from one direction to other direction. It will be very helpful for someone if they can consult with similar like-minded person who are experienced in that domain. And when someone consult with some more experienced spiritual person, then she or he get to know that what is causing those type of emotional instability. Because until we know that what is happening, you will not get the answer. First, you need to know that what is happening. So when you know that what is happening inside me, then you can take initiative to change those type of things or get adapted or letting go all those belief system what is affecting you.
Thank you, Tanvir. Yeah, that's very, very true. And yeah, you brought us really nicely to the subject of intense emotions and feeling as though you might be going through a breakdown. And that, yeah, that's really commonplace as part of spiritual path, especially at the very start. I had that myself. I was very ill. That was part of that ground level shift that led me to start the path that I needed to be on. And I absolutely always advocate for people to get professional mental help. That's not to say that going to an energy healer or finding a teacher or starting meditation won't help, because it will, but you need to treat it as the serious thing it is. And yeah, so go to your GP, get referred. If you feel like it's too much or it's affecting your ability to enjoy your life or to function, or if you're feeling hopeless and you can't see a way out, then please get help. That's absolutely imperative. And that doesn't mean you're not a spiritual person. It just means you're doing the right thing and the sensible thing. That's exactly what I did. I've been through counselling and different forms of therapy, and that's helped me to have more tools in my toolkit as well as helping me to heal. It's helped me to have more tools in my toolkit for helping other people as well.
Yeah, I just want to add what you just have told. So yeah, definitely, as we have discussed that we need to go to the physical practitioner for any kind of our health or mental issues. But along with that, we also need to seek spiritual help from someone who is more into that domain. It will help that particular person to understand that why he or she is feeling that type of changes. But it is really hard to find those type of teachers.
Yes, it's hard to find. Sorry to interrupt. It's hard to find one of those sorts of teachers who also sees the value of getting that help from a non-spiritual source, isn't it? Because quite often teachers will be so enthusiastic about their way that they don't necessarily see there's room for other ways at the same time, and that need for support from outside sources. So it's really important to find somebody who is a teacher or an energy therapist who's more experienced, who has enough humility and understanding of the other kind of medical professionals and what they do, to be supportive of that, so that they're not trying to encourage you away from getting the help that you need, because it's not an either or thing. It really isn't.
Yeah. So what I was saying, definitely we need to go the path which you have described. In the meantime, if someone cannot find a proper teacher or a professional who is also aligned with medical practices and the spirituality, so in the meantime, what would be a good solution is reading books. Books, I mean, there are lots of books right now. The resources are quite robust than if you are just thinking it's a 10 or 20 years ago. Probably it might be a difficult thing to find the proper book, but right now you can find those type of spiritual book very specific to your questions. What might be? It might be something like why my relationship is changing with my family member or with my friends, or why I am feeling so much intense emotion right now. So books can help you a lot.
Yeah.
If someone not find those type of particular teachers yet, but definitely consulting with the teacher will be the first option. And if someone not get those type of teachers or professionals, look the solution inside the books. And I believe, because I have found it very much helpful for myself till now, I continuously try to read more spiritual books aligned with us. I believe it's also true for you, right?
Very much so, Tanvir. Yes. Oh my word. And yes, there are so many amazing books from so many amazing writers at different periods of history and different on different paths. I think we're going to write some in the comments below.
That was
Links and yeah. So yes, there are some really awesome teachers out there as well right now who've written books too, which can be really helpful for people. So yeah, definitely books are ways that I think books can have their own healing energy as well through the words. It's really interesting, but as well as resonating with us and people sharing their insight and their wisdom and also similar experiences to the ones we might be having, you can receive energy and healing from certain books, which is just phenomenal. I think it might be time for us to sign off for now and to resume our discussion next time, because this has been such a fruitful and interesting conversation. And we take a little break and then we'll come back next time with a couple more questions on this subject, a bit more guidance and some experiences on our perspective on challenges and difficulties that people who are new to their spiritual path might encounter. Okay, then.
Yeah, thank you, Ima. So stay tuned with us. Definitely you will find more resourceful informations in our next discussion.
Yes, can't wait. Okay. Take care. Bye for now. Stay curious. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.